All right, good evening to everyone that is joining us tonight. Thank you so much for coming on to join us on our Q&A that's all around meditation, its benefits, and how to make the most of your meditation practice. If you are currently meditating or you're willing to or wanting to take those steps to get into it. So before we get started, I'll just quickly introduce myself. So for anyone that doesn't know me or hasn't been on one of my webinars before, I am Carla Thomas and I'm a Perth-based holistic health coach. I'm a founder of the GC movement, and this is where we basically offer holistic wellness and nutrition coaching to people all around the world. And as part of my commitment to holistic wellness, I regularly partner up with lots of other health experts, across the health and wellness space to bring along educational, informative, information that I hope is inspiring resources, for you, and also to help you on your wellness journey and keep you living at your juiciest, really, and your most vitalized possible self. So this is my monthly April webinar. I hold one every month with a different expert. So if you want to see any more like this, the past ones, they all get recorded. So you just head to my website, www.carlathomas.com.au, and if you browse through the resource hub, you'll be able to see plenty on there. So just for housekeeping, please keep yourself on mute. It just helps make sure that we can hear whoever's speaking very clearly. And also, if you do have any questions, because I have said this is a Q&A and hopefully we'll get time at the end, although I'm sure Laura's probably going to answer everything anyway. There is a chat section here, and if you just pop it in there, I'll keep track of it and I'll try and get to those in the end. But for now, let's get stuck into it. Let me introduce you to tonight's special guest. So we have the lovely Lauren Howe. I've known Lauren for maybe 2 or 3 years now.
Yeah, at least, absolutely.
I can't remember. I met the beautiful Lauren when I attended one of her wine and wellness nights at Mind Body Heart Studio in Leederville, and it was kind of that initial, we looked at each other and we sort of looked like each other at the time, and we were just like, I think we need to hang out, and it was just friendship from there. So Lauren is the founder of the Little Wellness Co. I love that name and brand and what you're all about, and that is based in Perth. So Lauren, thank you so much for very kindly volunteering your time to be on here tonight and give us a little inside view into the world of meditation. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, well, like you said, I run the Little Wellness Co, and when I started my journey into wellness, I was very much focused on health and well-being, and I guess that kind of led me into, I started coaching and working with people around that sort of thing. And when I was doing my coaching, I sort of got to that point where I felt like there was something missing from what I was gifting them or being able to work with them with. And I felt this draw to sort of do meditation. And at the time, learn to teach it. And at the time it was very much, I need to do this to share with other people. It wasn't that I was meditating necessarily myself, but it was, thinking, oh, this would be great to share with everyone else. Anyway, massive personal transformation and lesson learned, because it was one of the best decisions I've ever made just for myself to become a meditation teacher. The people who I did my studies through, the Australian Centre of Holistic Studies, take you on such an incredible journey that it's not just about teaching you the content of what it is to teach meditation, but it's really about anchoring and grounding your own practice every day so that you're able to, I guess, share from a place of depth and experience rather than just, I guess, the theory around it. So it took me about 1.5 years and of meditating every day during that, but it absolutely opened my eyes and changed my life in so many incredible ways. And some of that stuff I'm excited to share with you guys tonight. But yeah, it definitely turned out that this whole journey incredibly impacted me, which just made it even more powerful being able to share it with clients and students that I get to work with.
Beautiful. I love that. And, I think that's really the thing. I know the word journey gets used a lot, but it really is through your own journey and life experience that it leads you to sort of where you need and what you what you need at whatever time. So that's why I always love to hear every expert's story and how they came across this passion of theirs that you love sharing. So, let's just start with the really simple stuff, because I think for many of us, we have this idea that meditation needs to be sitting on a mountain, crossing your legs with your arms out and humming. I think that's the very old school sort of perception. I know that's what I grew up with. So let us, tell us, what is meditation at its core, and what are the goals and the benefits of practicing meditation?
Yeah, beautiful. And, you're completely right. There is this notion of that meditation. You need to be sitting in the mountains with a group of monks chanting. And, I think the most incredible thing about it is that it's something that we can integrate into our life, no matter what our life looks like. And while that experience might be amazing to be in the mountains and doing that, I think the true test and the power of it is being able to do it when we really truly need it, which is living our busy, stressful lives. Meditation, I guess, to put it in a simple way, there's two forms of meditation. So one is where you're concentrating on a single point of focus. So that could be using a mantra or affirmation. It could be focusing on the breath. It might be body scanning, or perhaps an object. And then there's another type of meditation that you could, which is more an attentive meditation, which is where you're more open and curious during that meditation. So you're just connecting to any experiences, any sounds you might be hearing, any sensations in the body that are coming up, thoughts, touch, whatever it is that's going on. So it's almost more of a mindful practice. I guess you can sort of pull meditation into those two. And I hear what you're saying, what are the goals around meditation, and what is it that we're trying to achieve? And I think that's probably one of the biggest reasons why people struggle with meditation, is because they come at it with an expectation and wanting to maybe hit a goal or some targets. And I would say meditation is almost the opposite. It's coming in and just allowing yourself to be open to whatever that experience is. But I mean, that's society, isn't it? We've really created this society where we want to strive and achieve and be successful and good at something. And if we're not, well, let's just not do it. And meditation is something that I think the sooner you can release those desires to achieve something in particular with it, the more incredible that experience becomes when you sit down and just go with whatever is happening at the time. Not to say that that's not challenging, because we're so not used to it, but it's just a different way of coming and thinking about it. The benefits of it really kind of go across so many different parts of our well-being, because you've got your physical, mental and emotional, and also that spiritual side that it really touches on. So some things I think we're used to hearing is, meditation is great for reducing stress and calming our mind, giving us more clarity, shifting perspective from perhaps being in a negative mind frame and starting to see things in a more positive light. And that shift in perspective is something that I think is incredibly powerful, and very underrated in how much it can transform your life and the challenges that you're experiencing. There's also increases your body awareness, which for me has been really incredible. It's made me have a different relationship with my body and seen it as, it is the vehicle that I'm here to experience this life through. It's what allows me to, I guess, be present and connected into a moment and feel alive and feel amazing. And so I think, through meditation, you really start to anchor into your body and the wisdom of it, and the intuition that's there. And you end up having a more loving relationship with the body instead of feeling so. I think we can be quite disconnected from our body at times. And I always say to people, when you think about your feet, yeah, I've got feet, but am I in my feet? Do you know what I mean? Like there's that sort of actually connected into those parts of your body, or do they feel distant? Do you really feel that? Another key thing I think that meditation provides that I've noticed a big change is that becoming aware of tension, becoming aware of stress, and just noticing what's happening in the body. Again, that's through that connection. But it also has allowed me, and I know it's one of the benefits of it, is an increased flow of emotions. So allowing you to process emotions in a much healthier and probably a faster way than what you would dealing with them without properly processing them and allowing them to be there. And another massive one is just that compassion for the self and for other people really has allows you to just start to observe things in a really different way, which is beautiful.
Yeah, I love so much of what you just shared. And considering meditation is it simple, but it can be such a complex thing because it's different for so many people. You really just summed that up nicely. And the things that I took and I love is the fact that, yes, sometimes we forget there are various forms of meditation. You know, there's active meditation, I always say, that can be in form of yoga when you're in silence because you are having to just think and be where you are or snap yourself back to the moment. But then there is, guided meditations, which is something I know that I've been a fan of personally. If you struggle to just sort of be in the silence, it's a really good way to stop the mind thinking. But yeah, absolutely, it can just be concentrating on something to be grateful for. It can be just aware of the sounds or that moment around you. And while it's challenging to do, I think that's the whole purpose of it, though, to be able to just stop for a moment. And one of the things that I love that Tony Robbins says, and it's a practice that I picked up of his called priming, and it goes for meditation or gratitude or anything. If you don't have 10 minutes of your day to do that, he says you've got to get a life. And it's so true. We go, I don't have 5 minutes to just stop and stop being on the go. And I think that's the beautiful thing. The more you start to incorporate meditation in some format in your life, the easier it becomes to do that. And as you said, it's about going in without expectations. There doesn't need to be some set of achievement, like I did this right for it to have been right. It is what it is in that moment, correct? And that's what it was meant to be for you, whatever comes up. It's having awareness, it's reconnecting, as you said, and it's just being conscious of yourself and what's happening around you. And yeah, you tend to just be more aware of what's happening. I know that's something I've personally found for myself.
Yeah, definitely. That enhanced awareness and just, like you said, going with it. And I think, can you find 10 minutes? And it's making it a priority and really not seeing meditation as a chore or something that you have to do. It's something that hopefully you will get to the point once you connect with your emotional reasons of why you want to do it, that you want to do it. It's, something, and I mean, now when I sit down to do it, that blissful feeling of being like, oh my gosh, yeah. And whether that's, really making sure that you feel worthy of that 10 minutes, that you deserve it, that, it needs to happen and be a priority in your life is so key for it to, be happening.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. So in saying that, do you have any simple techniques that you might be able to share with us to help us meditate and reconnect with the wisdom of our bodies? So, even if there's any particular mantras, what are they? And do you need to have a mantra to meditate?
Well, I'll go with the first bit of like a technique that you can use. And I think the simplest form is a body scan. So that's one where you can create this connection with your body through pausing and starting to assess what's going on and where tension's being held. I think that these type of meditations really illuminate where tension is being held, where stress is being held in the body. And it's interesting because what we might perceive as normal or, I feel fine. When you actually get down to it, you realize, hang on, I'm actually tense, but that's become normal. So the level of tension is normalized within the body and you're used to operating at that stage. So what this starts to do is start to bring in an awareness to where tension's being held, where stress is being held in the body, and allows you to unravel it. Now, tension unravels in stages. I guess it'd be nice if it just melted away completely, but the first stage is really that acknowledgement of, where is it? Am I holding it in my shoulders? Or, there is tension in my shoulders. Why is that there? Or there's tension in my jaw. And just starting to recognize the sensations that are going on within you and allowing yourself to relax, allowing the energies to process through your body. and whether that's through deeper investigation and asking yourself questions about, hang on, why is that there? Oh, well, why am I concerned about that? And usually it will come down to, there's a fear of something, which is why you're feeling tense. And that might be the fear of failure, fear of letting go of control of something and surrendering to an experience of what's going on. And so a simple thing you can do, which is really easy, and I get a lot of my students who are just starting off on their meditation journey, is to just ask themselves at any time, any point of the day, am I relaxed? So you just pause and just notice, how are you sitting? How are you breathing? And you can do a really quick body scan, starting at your toes, feeling your feet, your calves, your thighs, moving into the belly, the chest, and just noticing at each point, where is tension? Is it feeling relaxed? And as you start to notice that, just allow yourself to let go consciously on the out breath and just let go. And you might even use a mantra like, let go, letting go, and just letting that melt away. And you might only do that 5 times, using that mantra, but that'll only take you a couple of minutes, and you could do it in the middle of a meeting quietly to yourself. Do you know what I mean? You can really integrate that into any point of your day. I think it's important to remember that it's okay not to feel okay, and to meet any sensations that are in the body that don't feel good, to meet them with love and acceptance, and to know, hey, it's all right that I feel anxious or stressed or worried. That's completely a normal human emotion. And I think for so long we've kind of been told by society to have quick fixes, to move on from something, or suppress it, pretend it's not there. And, we can see how that manifests in so many other unfortunate ways in our life, whether it's through illness or other things when stress gets on top of us. So I think remembering it's okay to allow unpleasant emotions to be there. Obviously, if it's at a point where it feels really difficult and challenging, then seek assistance if you feel like it's something that is too much through meditation. That's completely okay as well. You don't have to meditate to be able to get in touch with that sort of stuff. You can do yoga, you can, go speak to a therapist, go see a friend. There's lots of other things that you can do to start your journey at the beginning, rather than feeling like you've got to delve into it. This is one of the reasons why a lot of people are put off by meditating, I think, is because, hang on, I don't want to confront some of that stuff that I know is going to come up. And take, it's about just showing yourself that compassion and taking it easy, and again, letting go of those expectations of what it needs to be. And yeah, obviously you can use affirmation in that, such as the letting go. For those who don't use affirmations or don't know much about affirmations, basically it's just a positive statement that you can use. You could, say it in the morning when you get up. You could repeat it in your mind while you're brushing your teeth. It's about targeting a area that you want to work with, and strengthening your awareness around it. Perhaps for that day or that week, you might choose an affirmation to work with. And mantra and affirmations are great for people who have monkey mind. And if you said where your mind's sort of jumping around and you want to anchor in with an affirmation, it's a great way to use a repetitive, active way to kind of keep your mind focused on that single point as you're meditating. And yeah, I think that's, and that can be simple. It can be, I am open, or I am compassionate, or, what is that word that you want to work with for that week? It doesn't have to be too extensive. That can be super simple.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that, because I think very much too, I know someone that I can be in monkey mind. Once I'm up, I'm thinking about what to do in the day and etc. So for me, that's definitely the type that I have found that's worked for me, being able to either distract my mind by repeating something or having to concentrate on something. But, it's interesting you talk about body scan, and, there are some great apps out there, which I know you might speak about afterwards. There was one I downloaded a long time ago. I think it's just called Mindfulness, where you can either time your own, or there's a few guided, and body scan on there is my favourite. And often at night, if I'm feeling I can't sleep, or I'm not relaxing or turned off, And recently when I had my wisdoms out and they were just painful, I was just body scanning to just take my mind. And, you know, when I listen to those, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, it's morning. Like I've fallen, you know what I mean? Like you really do just, yeah, it's a great way to actually help you sleep. And that's what I found. But, you know, it's so true. Things like meditation, I don't want to use the word they force, but they put you in a place where you need to stop. And I think that's a big fear. A lot of people think if I stop, how am I going to be able to keep going, get everything done if I let everything relax? But also too, things come up and sometimes we don't want to have to deal with the emotions. And yet if we do this on a regular basis, there's less to have to, I guess, deal with or push through that's hard because we're always facing it on a consistent, you know, daily practice or, you know, every so often. So I really love, how you shared about that. So just for anyone that might be asking here, what would you say is the best way of explaining what is the difference between just relaxation, simply relaxing, or hypnosis to meditation?
Yeah, that's a great question because I think with relaxation, and it depends really on your intention of meditating and, what's the purpose behind it? What are you trying to do? And I think, those simple forms of relaxation, whether it's, I'm just going to get home and I'm going to switch on the TV or I'm, going to go and just have a glass of wine with the girls. And that's, and that genuinely can be a relaxing experience where you can go and you can switch off and, it's a quick stress relief and, there's that sense of, I can escape the pressures that are kind of awaiting me. I guess I would say meditation is different in the sense that, and depending on, again, your intention of why you're meditating, but with meditation, you can set that intention to transcend thoughts, stresses, worries, whatever's going on, and deepen your awareness around what is actually going on. Why are these things stressing you out and worrying you? Not to say that, the other simple forms of relaxation, they totally have their place and are really important as well. But for that deeper impact and that more sustainable impact in the long term, I really think meditation has, I guess, much more depth.
Well, absolutely, because as you said, relaxing can be, having that wine with your girlfriends or, sitting and watching something funny on Netflix, whatever it does to take your mind off everything else, but you're not actually spending that time to stop, go within and reconnect and process thoughts. You're tuning out from the world, but you're not tuning in. I think that's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, that's exactly it, Carla. It's like, that tuning out because you want to escape something and you want to numb to it. Whereas, meditation, I would say it's not for the faint of heart. Like it's brave to want to sit down and meditate and to go deeper than what our natural instincts are. And to delve into that and to meet fears and challenges. Without distraction, without noise. Just to see that, and that's not an easy thing to do. I can see where both have their place, but I think with the right support and the right attitude in going into meditation, you can totally step into that space. I think you mentioned the other thing was that self-hypnosis, and I don't know a lot about self-hypnosis. I think there's some similarities with meditation where it's about calming the mind and reaching a state in your consciousness or mind of where you're at. My understanding of self-hypnosis is that it can be linked to an outcome, which might be to quit smoking or, change your behaviour, let's say. Whereas I guess with meditation, there isn't necessarily an end point that you're trying to reach. So, that's, my limited understanding of what self-hypnosis is. I think there's similarities, but probably the only difference or main difference is that meditation's a bit more, got that more open-ended feeling to it.
Yeah. So in saying that, given we have such chaotic lives, or many of us do lead that, how can we go about developing a meditation routine that fits in with our lives? And, what should we be aiming for?
Absolutely. It's so interesting. I saw the other day there was this, it must have been in the United States, and it was this bus that's been decked out as a meditation studio, and they park it in the city, and all busy office folk are going in there. And I'm just like, that's epic. Like, that's amazing that that's happening. And if that's how it's got to happen to fit in with people's lives, then, why not? Let's, however it's going to work. I think it's such, it's exciting to see such innovation and people doing that. I think, meditation is really going to become a non-negotiable for people. And either that or it's, going to be taking medication to cope with the pressures of the busy lives that we are living. I think we're starting to see a bit of a shift though, in the fact that there's not as much glamour around this idea of busy and I'm hustling to make it work, and that people do want to adopt a more wholesome life that is more aligned with what it is that they want to experience, and that they're not just wanting to serve an organisation to the point of depletion. And you see in organisations now there's becoming more of a focus on mindfulness and meditation in the workplace, because they know what incredible impact it will have on their employees if they're feeling more connected and healthy within, that they're going to, be more engaged and their output's going to be better at work, and, that's going to have a flow-on effect. I think, meditation really, if it means because you're busy and you've got a lot of stuff that's going on, you do need to connect with, what value is it going to be to your life? Why are you wanting to meditate? That's so important, without knowing why you want to do that. And not just, those benefits that I've spoken about, but, if you are wanting to meditate because it's going to relieve stress, then why do you want to relieve stress? And you start to get down to some real core values that people have, which is usually about having deeper connections with those they love, being more present, experiencing life in a way that means that they can be a role model for their kids, or be more engaged with their kids and their families. There's, some really beautiful values that you start to connect with. But I think, if you've got to meditate on the bus on the way to work, or you get to a meeting 10 minutes early, or an appointment and you can sit in your car for 5 or 10 minutes and meditate before you get out, they're all ways that you can start to, I guess, integrate it into your life, instead of, I guess, scrolling on Instagram, which we're totally all guilty of, Yeah. Yeah, I know. I totally raise my hand too.
Absolutely. I mean, you're right. Like, everyone always says there's nowhere that you can't just stop, even if it's for a minute, to just take some deep breaths and get present. But if you had to recommend, say, a good amount of time to start with, or a particular time of day, or even an area or a position that might help you to be able to get into the zone, what would it be?
With it, I reckon you have to really, you want to create a routine with it, and you want it to be the same place each time, that when you're sitting there, it's going to, when you sit down in that spot, you're connected to your meditation.
Right, and that might associate it the same way you associate the bedroom with sleep.
Exactly. Okay. Which can sometimes be, and for some people, they will meditate before they go to bed, and they will lie down, and often that's when they fall asleep. But you can see why that would be, because, but do you know what? If that's how you've got to start, meditate lying in bed, do it before you go to bed or when you get up. It's about making it super accessible to you. So yeah, again, if that means before you get out of bed you sit down and meditate, then that's what you do. If you set up a beautiful little sacred space in your house, a corner, which is what I've done in my lounge room, I've got a nice corner where I sit down and I meditate. You want to make it comfortable. If it means putting a few crystals, a photograph, a candle, whatever it is that's going to make it sacred to you, make you want to sit down in that space and do it, then that's really important. I think in terms of time, as long as when you're starting out, even if it means you sit down and you take 5 breaths, do you know what I mean? Like, just, you've got to start somewhere. Obviously, you start to see benefits when you increase that time. A lot of people say when you want to start seeing shifts in your own consciousness, and depending where you're at in your meditation journey, it will need to be for more than 30 minutes. But starting out, if it's 5 minutes, or, set that time aside for yourself. And if it's too hard, ask yourself, why is it too hard? Why is it not happening? What's happening to kind of get in the way? But I think start small, start realistic with what it is that you're trying to do. Release those expectations around what it needs to look like. Don't judge, how your experience was. If it was that you could only sit down for a short time without, wanting to open your eyes and get up, then that's great. Next time it might be a bit longer. You've just got to allow yourself that time to kind of move through it. A lot of people say the morning is a really like the prime time to do your meditation. When you get up, then do the meditation. It kind of sets your day. But again, if the evening's the only time you can do it in the evening. You know, you don't have to, I guess, be sitting upright like you see those, you know, gurus doing it all cross-legged. If you want to just sit on your couch, or you want to lie down on your bed or on the floor, you know, it's about making it comfortable and easy to do in the beginning.
Yeah. And I mean, I think from my experience, and this is what I encourage, I'm sure you would too, to try and meditate at different times, because you do get different experiences. As you said, like first thing in the morning for me, when I do that, I haven't had the day racing, everything's still. I like to get up early. You're sort of in that fresh and awake, and it is more of a set yourself for the day, energized meditation. Whereas if I'm to do it later at night, or as I said, it tends to be as a way to relax and go to sleep. So it's actually doing the opposite for me, which is lovely to be able to feel. So in saying that, this is a bit of a two-part question. Does or should your meditation practice, I guess, vary with your mood and state of health? And in saying that, is there then a link between, you know, what we eat and how we practice our lives in terms of how fulfilling your meditation practices might be?
Yeah, definitely. I always think, you know, the time when we're most stressed and things are out there most hectic is a time that we most need to meditate, right? But it's the time that we often find it the most challenging. You know, I even myself experience that a lot, and think, if anything, it makes me incredibly grateful and aware of the importance of meditating, because I notice when I haven't meditated how it can impact my day and impact how things have unfolded, or how resilient I feel throughout that day. I think, you know, meditation might not always boost your mood. You know, it might make you, you know, might shine a light on something that's really full on and stressful. Obviously, what, you know, you'd love it if it was always great and amazing, and it might always be like that. But it might not always make you feel great after you've meditated. It might be quite confronting. But, you know, I guess the most important thing is not to see it as a quick fix. Meditation is such a long-term journey that's giving you this deeper insight and awareness and clarity on your life, and how you can grow and bloom. And, you know, and it's totally okay to ebb and flow with how it goes. And yeah, what you're putting into your body totally affects how you meditate, how you feel. I mean, we know it, you know, just generally affects how we feel. So obviously if you're eating a diet that's, you know, high in sugar and processed foods, you know, high in animal products and alcohol and coffee, those things, if you do that and then you sit down to meditate, even one of those things, you're going to notice such a difference than if you're eating high vibrational foods that are plant-based or organic and, you know, whole foods. You're going to be picking up on such a different frequency, I think. In your meditation, you'll feel sluggish and your mind feels sluggish. So yeah, it totally can impact your practice, as can, you know, what you watch on TV, what you look at on social media, what you're reading. All that stuff that's going into your mind and your body is going to have some sort of impact on your meditation.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, the more we look after ourselves, the easier it becomes to connect with yourself. I really, really do believe that, and to intuitively listen to your needs and what's happening, because you're not blocking it with all of the noise and, you know, the mixed signals that, you know, these types of foods and drinks and beverages and, you know, social media can do for us. So, yeah, I really love that, you know, you touched on that. Lauren, I'd love to know, you know, what's your most inspiring meditation story, in the sense of, is there one practice in particular? Maybe it was on your travels, maybe it was with a mentor in class. Is there one particular one that you can think of that, you know, it was just, yeah, like one of those moments, one of those practices that's really stayed within you?
Absolutely. I think, you know, I definitely think, having done group meditations, you notice such a heightened experience. So anyone that is struggling to meditate on their own, I totally recommend going and joining a meditation group, because I've always found experiences in a group are much more profound than they are by yourself. And you do kind of pick up on group energy. But the beauty of meditation for me has that it's been such a constant unfolding that happens, and it feels so small and tiny at the time. But you asking that question and me reflecting on the journey that I've been over the last few years, is that there hasn't been any massive groundbreaking moment, or, you know, no moment where I feel like, oh, I'm now, you know, enlightened or whatever it is, you know, that it's just been like I felt like every day and every time after I meditate, I feel just that much more awakened or a little bit more aware. And I think that's been one of the beauties of it. And I think sometimes it might be what can put people off because they don't have that big explosion straight away. And, you know, it might never be one big thing that we hear in stories of, you know, this golden light that you kind of connect with or whatever. You know, it might be, and for me, that's been the case of, you know, there's been moments that have been really nourishing for my soul and helped me process emotions, or unveiled me to limited beliefs and conditioning that I needed to let go and move through or confront things. But yeah, it's totally been, you know, a gradual journey along the way, which has just been, yeah, really special.
Yeah. And, you know, I love that because it's something that I know I practice with any of my GC lives as part of the GC movement, to not go into anything and just fixating on one thing and expecting that's like going to be some epiphany and miracle and everything's going to change. So if I just exercise, everything's going to be fixed. If I just eat well, it's all going to be fixed. If I just meditate, you know, everything's going to change. Is understanding that meditation just plays a important, or it can, you know, inclusion or role into daily practices that are about, you know, creating that balance and that whole vitality and sense of well-being. And it's just, yeah, but if you stop doing it, if you have been doing it regularly, that's where you might notice,
yes, that's so powerful. It's so powerful. That's why I say to people, when you fall off the wagon and you can look back and go, oh my gosh, that's why I need to do it. Then that moment of falling off was actually not a bad, you know, like that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
That real.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's with anything, I would say sometimes we need that to be a reminder of why it's so important we keep doing it. You know, we every now and again like to test the waters and just sort of get towards that breaking point for whatever reason and then go, oh, okay. So I love that. You know, Lauren, honestly, this has been incredible and really enlightening for me because, as I've said, I'm not you know, someone who this is not necessarily my forte or something that I'm all over, but definitely something that I've been trying to embrace over the years and absolutely behind and supportive of. So before we finish off, can you please let anybody who's on live tonight or that listens to this recording, let them know how they can contact you to find out more about meditation and the teaching that you do and how they might be able to get involved. And then just on that, I have actually just signed up to Lauren's 31-day May meditation challenge. So if anyone else wants to come on board as well, please share with them how they can do that too.
Yeah, sure. So if you head to my website, it's littlewellnessco.com.au. You can sign up for the 31-day mindfulness challenge. I'm excited to kick that off and share some of my tips and stories and some videos about how you can embrace the life that's here and sort of start moving more to anchoring, into that present moment rather than getting caught up in worrying about the past or getting too caught up in the future, which I think is, you know, our natural instinct to do that. But I'm calling it a rebellion against that natural instinct, and that we want to go deeper into, you know, the life that's here and get to feel it and connect with it. So I do have some meditation courses that I'm running as well. So I think the next one that I've got one in May, but that has just sold out. So the next one is in June. And that's combining the use of meditation and journaling to help process emotions, connect to your inner wisdom. So you can find out a little bit more about that on my website. But hopefully you'll sign up for the free challenge and get those tips and we can kick off in May.
Yeah, I'm super excited because it is a little bit out. I was like, oh, should I do this or not? And I was like, right, if it's uncomfortable, I always know that's a sign to step in and whatever comes of it, comes of it. Don't judge, just learn, see what I need. And I know that, without a doubt, it's going to be just super insightful and it's going to encourage me to take that meditation, practice. I am trying to incorporate that a little bit further. So Lauren, again, thank you so much for joining me on this tonight. I'm super excited that we're going to have this as a resource for anybody down the track that wants to know more about meditation and is looking into it. The recording for anyone that's on, or if you know someone listening to this that you just want to share it, please do. It'll be posted up on my socials in the next couple of days. I'm sure Lauren will share it as well. But otherwise, if any questions pop up after this, you can reach out to Lauren directly through her website. I'm sure she'll be able to help answer any questions, or I can put you in touch as well. So, Lauren, thank you again for giving up your free time this evening. I so appreciate it, and for sharing all your knowledge around meditation.
Anytime, Carla. Absolutely love talking to you. So you know that. I love it. And yeah, thanks for having me on.
Thank you.